Pathikrit Payan, who's very much the major intellectual resource we have at API. And Pathikrit's going to talk to us about Russia's India journey, and in terms of a 25 billion pipeline that is proposed between India and Russia, where it will come from, what are the feasibilities and what are the advantages.
Good morning to all of you. And I would just like to make this presentation, which is basically based on one particular deal. Generally, when presentations are made, they are made on major issues. But the reason why I'm talking only about a particular deal is because this deal is not a deal in isolation, but it signifies a lot of things. And this deal itself is a culmination of a lot of factors. In October 2016, Russia's Rosneft is one of Russia's largest integrated oil companies. A Rosneft-led consortium took over Essar Oil of India, and this was a $13 billion deal. Of course, it's a private deal, but it had a major government blessing from the Indian side, and there's no denial of that. But before I get into that as to why this deal happened and what are the implications of this deal, let me make a few short comments before I start all the work. I think today as a nation, India is far more non-aligned than it used to be in the past when we used to say that we are a non-aligned country. I mean, if you look at it in the last 10 years, time since the civil nuclear deal was signed between India and the United States, India went ahead and bought nuclear reactors more from Russia and had deals with France later on. It was only a few months back, last year, that India had gone ahead and had a deal with Westinghouse of the United States in collaboration with Nuclear Power Corporation of India for making reactors in India. So irrespective of what the rest of the world is fighting on, we are dealing with everyone. Similarly, if you look at the strategic reserves that India is making, it is procuring oil both from Iran and United Arab Emirates for filling up the strategic reserves, in spite of the fact that Iran and UAE literally don't see eye to eye for a lot of factors. There is a strong possibility also that India might be the only country in the world with a Sukhoi production line and a possible F-16 production line. No other country actually has it. And last but not the least, why I say we are a truly non-aligned country today is because this deal happened in spite of American sanctions on Russia. And it's not easy for any country to go ahead and do deals with another country when there are American sanctions. Now, what is this deal basically about? Rosneft took over 98% of Essar. It got access to a 20 million metric ton per annum refinery, a major port in Vadinar in Gujarat, and 2,700 oil service stations. Why is it very interesting? Because of the sanctions, Rosneft couldn't have taken over more than 49%. So the remaining 49% was taken over by a consortium consisting of United Capital Partners of Russia and a Switzerland, Geneva-based trading company called Trafigura, which has become the major exporter of Russian oil after the sanctions. They took over another 49%. So this 49% of Trafigura and United Capital Partners, it is said in certain sections of media that later on when the sanction issues might get eased, they will give it over to the Russians. Now, why this deal is very critical? The reason is globally, if you look at continental Russia, in spite of the fact that Russia is majorly a part of Asia geographically, it has always associated itself with Europe. It plays the Euro Cup. But now, if you look at the condition of Europe, the slowdown, the global depression of oil, and of course the sanctions, I mean, it's a foregone conclusion beyond the point that European foreign policy beyond the point is made by the Americans. So because of the sanctions, because of the depressed oil prices, and also because of the tremendous opportunity that Asia today provides and the prospects that it promises, both China and to a greater extent also India. that Russia has, like the Americans, a pivot to Asia strategy. Kremlin's strategy of pivot to Asia is not very different from the way the Americans have a pivot to Asia strategy during Obama's time. How things will shape up now, is anybody's guess. But as when the deal was happening, it was the Obama administration that was there. Interestingly, in spite of the fact that the sanctions were there, they did not actually interfere much. What Rosneft gets in turn is access to the third largest energy consuming economy in the world after United States and China, of course. Now, what is important is that why this deal is very important, why I consider it is a very important thing, is that number one, it is a reflection of deepening of ties between India and Russia beyond the defense sector. Of course, there has been certain engagements in the energy sector also in the past where India took a substantial portion of stake in some of the oil and gas fields in the Sakhalin region of Siberia. But this kind of downstream investments by a Russian company in India never happened before. The second thing why I think it's very important is because we are truly today in a multipolar world where the ties are deepening within countries and among countries without any strings getting attached. I consider it as an evolution because there is a realization that India would henceforth, as if you look at it, the Russians have understood that Indians would no more take permission of Russia before going ahead with arms deals with the United States or anyone else. Similarly, perhaps, the Russians will not look up to an Indian consent before selling weapons to someone else in the neighborhood of India. So somewhere a balance is being created, but as the way we look at it today, I mean one of the reasons why these deals happen in India, this Rosneft deal happened, is also because of the situation in Europe where the sanctions have been imposed because of the Crimea crisis in Ukraine and the intervention by Russia into that region. One other factor, it was very interesting when I was doing the research, I found that one of the most important factors for which the Americans actually imposed sanctions on Russia, for a lot of factors, is because the Russians were one of the biggest players in the European gas market, and beyond a point, the Americans, because of the shale gas revolution, actually needed access to a ready-made market to sell its own surplus gas. And after 40 years probably to now, the Americans have started thinking about exporting gas. And if you look at the US Gulf Coast, it is dotted with large number of terminals which are being created, which are going to export probably something around 50 to 60 million tons of gas to Europe by 2019 and 20. So today, for a lot of factors, I think there is a theater shift happening. Russia has a renewed interest in India, and I think it's good. There's another deal, which is, again, the feasibility study has been going on. Not that that deal has finalized like this one, and that deal is about a pipeline. That pipeline is supposed to be a $25 billion pipeline which will connect India to the Trans-Siberian pipeline in Russia and would have a direct linkage to bring gas from Russia to India. A feasibility study has been given to Engineers India Limited to do whether it should come through the China or across the other section, be it through Pakistan or across Afghanistan or Chabahar port. Whether it comes that way, if it comes that way, it's going to be more expensive, but there are geopolitical implications involved. Eventually, it is up to the government to decide. But what I feel is that in terms of energy security, quite a few steps have happened in the last few years, which are very positive in terms of India's energy security and deepening of ties so far as India's relation with Russia is concerned. I'll just rest my case here. If there are questions, I'll address them later on. Thank you.